Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, a very warm welcome to you, sir. So,
thank you so much.
first, yeah. A very famous educator, David Warlick, has said once that we need technology in every classroom and in every student and teacher's hand because it's the pen and paper of our time and it's the lens through which we experience much of our world. So, in today's podcast, it's also something similar we will be talking on. We will be talking about how edtech platforms are a game changer. And to talk about this, we have with us is Mr. Rajiv, the Chief Technical Officer of the gamifying learning app, Step App, and our founder, Dr. Harprasad Mishra, who will be bringing his expertise in the field of neuroscience into the conversation. I heartily welcome both Mr. Rajiv and Dr. Harprasad into the conversation from the whole team of MH India. Welcome to both of you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on board over here. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So my
Yes,
first
Udit.
yeah. So my first question to you, sir, in today's modern era, especially in the post-pandemic time, we have a it's like a mushrooming of the edtech platforms. How Step App is different from other edtech platforms? How do you feel about it?
Let me just give you a little bit of an idea of what Step App does, and also give you a sense of why we think we are different.
Okay.
Essentially, when it comes to solving when you just mentioned that technology is the pen and paper of our times, right? Essentially,
Yeah.
what we have to realize is that technology is still the facilitator.
Mhm.
It's not the be all and end all of things. Yes, it does make everything better in terms of, okay, there is efficiency that is introduced in the system and you're able to get the service or the product or the content in a better way down to the end consumer, whatever domain you may be part of. But the true essence of it is still the content. The true essence of it is still your pedigree in some way,
Yeah.
right? Oh, give me a second. I'm so sorry. Sinus is acting up. Anyway,
Yeah.
uh, it, what we have now with the mushrooming of the edtech platforms is that there are a bunch of them which are platforms. There are a bunch of them which are basically, and everything is useful in their own right, but a bunch of them are technology first platforms, which is also needed, like the LMSs and the and sort of the analytical platforms and so on and so forth. But the core of that is not actually education, right? Essentially, when we and then there is another series of people who are essentially taking education as their core, right? So where the whole idea is to be able to get what we already have in a better way down to the end consumer, right? Essentially, and you obviously can come up with a lot of different ways to get there. uh, uh, a lot of the stories are well known. What Step App is trying to do, and essentially what we are trying to get to, is that we are a sister concern for PACE coaching classes, and PACE has been in the industry for 22 years. What we think we know better than a lot of people that are there in the market is how to impart that education. Technology, like I said, is a facilitator. If we kind of start to think about technology as a facilitator, everybody will get there. Eventually, everybody will be able to create an application which does pretty much the same thing. But where the differentiator still lies in your knack of education, how much you understand children, how much you understand different stakeholders, parents and children and students and principals and teachers. And it's a mind-boggling maze of webs where behind a single student getting to an IIT, there are about 100 people who get involved at the end of it. So this is sort of what we understand better than most people in the industry at the moment, and we are banking on that. One, let's say, one learning that was eventually very clear was that if you cannot impart education, or you cannot get the student to learn, if you don't get the student excited or inherently interested in that topic.
Mhm.
And gamification is just one solution to that. Gamification is basically trying to make the student more engaged in that conversation. There are very few. Let's be honest. There are less than 1% of the students who are so driven that they would really go through sort of hell and high water to be able to get to what they want to do. But for most students, which is basically a huge chunk out of it, and if we don't focus on them, we kind of lose out on a lot of talent also. For most students, you have to actually convince them that this is good for them in some way. And game, if that's what we're trying to do, we're trying to make learning fun. We're trying to make learning engaging. We're trying to use the pedigree that we have. We're trying to use the learnings that we have over the last 20 years to then devise, let's say, technology, content, even the teachers that we have on board, or the assessments, and how we kind of track the students. Everything kind of boils down to that fundamental truth for us.
Yeah. So thanks, Rajiv, for such a wide explanation to Smriti's question. Adding on to it, I want to just say a few things. That is, yes, Rajiv has focused that only there are a few 0.5 to 1% of children who are so much passionate about studies and stuff and what they want in life that they go hell and high and they try to get a knack of things. Otherwise, most people are so, most children, I will say, are so much I would say distracted or driven by a lot of stuff happening in the virtual world that we need alternative solutions for them in this new technology world. Also, I'm a great fan of Mr. Praveen Tyagi, who is also one of my teachers back in 2014 when I was preparing for my pre-medical stuffs. And I was also a part of PACE team first, initially as a student, then I joined as a part-time faculty. So it was a great experience with PACE, and that's why I have a strong belief with his team. And adding on to it, they have a wonderful business officer, Mr. Sandeep Singhal. Both Praveen Tyagi and Sandeep sir are physics faculty. And Rajiv, I think you also have special love for physics. What say?
Yes, I think I'll be very honest. I don't want to claim that I'm an expert at physics, very frankly, but I think physics is one of those subjects which kind of has a lot of. You eventually kind of encounter a lot of things in the real world. You go, oh, this is sort of what we kind of learned. I mean, something like that sort. So
Yeah.
it's that moments of excitement about, oh, what, this is kind of something that we actually can do, so to speak, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
And and the more you encounter that, the more you kind of get connected, right? Essentially speaking, I think that's where I like physics quite a bit in some way.
Yeah, adding, yeah, great.
Including things like, let's say, I mean, there are even if you are somebody who just does, let's say, leisure reading, and you're not even talking about proper educative learning, but if you think about, everybody kind of gets excited by space, whoever it might be, and then everything boils down to your physics concept. I mean, if you take up
Yeah.
you take up, let's say, a fiction book, you take up a you kind of go through a YouTube podcast on something, or something to do with sort of how to get to Mars or whatever it might be.
Yeah, physics
It
is
all
practical
finally
life.
boils down
Yeah,
to discussion.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Physics
So,
is practical life. Yeah,
it
yeah.
is interesting.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I didn't know you were actually a faculty also at PACE, to be honest. So that's
No, no,
interesting.
no, no. I was when I joined in my med school, so I was a visiting faculty in the Delhi NCR region because initial days in the starting of 2013, they used to have a new launch of PACE in Delhi. Later on, they winded up due to some reasons. I don't
No,
know,
that's
but
still operational. Though. There
yeah,
is
yeah,
a
operationals. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we had a great time because we are the first batch students and we had tremendous results. Means four students coming out of single batch under 100 ranks. So it was a great result from our batch. And
excellent.
I'm a great fan of Praveen Tyagi sir. Yeah, personal interaction was going on. Yeah. Shruti, next question you can have now.
Yeah, so Mr. Rajiv, you were talking about engaging the students and all. So, what do you think that can this be a sort of like addiction, this gamifying concept, or can have a negative impact on the children?
We would like to think so, right? I mean, I think addiction is a strong word. Let's be honest.
Mhm.
Addiction to a particular mode, just basically a type of learning or type of delivering content. Addiction might be a strong word. The best that we can hope for is that they kind of are engaged enough to keep wanting to come back to it, at least. I mean, more than they would otherwise, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be very honest. When it comes to words like I know there are dangers of mobile, sort of the whole application paradigm that we live in, and sort of attention spans and kind of the addiction that you find, the word that you use with in general, what mobile with the application that we have, but they are they are related to your they kind of tap into a specific part of your sociology or your psychology. I forgot the name of it, but it's sort of just an adrenaline bust that you get out of watching
It's
some
actually
kind
dopamine bust. Yeah, it's
of
actually
dopamine. Yeah,
dopamine
basically.
bust from
Yeah,
that side. Yeah.
yeah. So it's, I think there is a there, and let's be honest, those applications are doing it on purpose, right? The whole they know that this is happening and they're kind of doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Education applications aren't doing that. I mean, they're not.
Mhm.
They're
The
not
core of that,
Instagrams. Yeah.
they're not Instagram, right? Essentially speaking,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
not about temporary dose of dopamine, like you said, essentially, where you want them to keep coming back to something which is, well, at at the risk of sounding old, way, inherently empty in some way.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Definitely.
substance in some way, right? So this is something which needs cognitive dissonance, and to be able to kind of focus on it, it is not going to be easy. We're not here to make education easy, in the sense that we're not here to kind of dumb down education. Education still remains education, right? At the end of the day, so it still remains a paradigm, or it still remains a domain where children or students or whoever is interacting with it needs to put in some effort. We just want to make that effort fun. So I don't really see it to be an addictive domain in any way, shape, or form. And if there is somebody who's doing it, there are people in the edtech domain who are trying to do that as well. We are moving away from education as the core focus.
Yeah, definitely.
There are things that are happening
Mm-hmm.
basically where you can see that there are people who wanting to for the sake of YouTube views would do
Yeah.
anything on YouTube, and it to a point that it's no longer an education channel, so to speak. So I
So
don't think
limit, yeah, we should have a great limit on it, and I feel that your technical team is also working on to have a check on it, be it the blue light time and also the engagement time. The students also will learn in a later course of time, because we all have changed. Because in our days, when we used to prepare, we used to have a preparation on offline mode. Now everything has got changed, and we also have adapted. So things will take their own course of time.
Yeah, I think hopefully, I think we are the cause. So it's we are the cause and we are the problem and the solution in some way. Right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
technology is creating that problem, and I think it finally boils down to what is important to us. So I think as a core of the company in StepApp, we kind of believe. So let me give you a sample of it, right? Essentially speaking,
Yeah.
in the days and in the months and in the era where applications are down to MAUs, DAUs, how many hours in a day, and this, that, and the other, we have conversations in the company where we go, why is how many hours in a day that the student spent on the app important? How many chapters did you finish? A chapter is supposed to be 40 minutes or 50 minutes. How much more time can you spend on the application in a day? We don't want them to come and spend 4 hours a day because they're not doing anything. You can't do 4 hours of passive learning, looking at the application, looking at videos. You don't grasp anything out of it. And that's why we
Yeah.
want to. And the more engaging you make it, the more tiring it is. Let's be honest. I mean, if you kind of make sure, if you look at the application that we
Hmm.
have right now, you can't actually surpass and go through a specific concept without answering a question about it. So we made it inherently difficult because we want the student to be able to understand that. And the core of it
Yeah.
is education. If we come from a fact that okay, you know what, even the student get tired and say no, I'll come back to it. The core still remains. If you manage to go through our application, you have learned something. And I think
Hmm.
in some way we are happy with that. We want to kind of remain in a domain where we are taken seriously as an education player.
Yeah.
I think
That's very
that's
important, because because adding a lot of stuff is now because uh, in a back decades time, what used to happen is that the competitive exam preparation lacks materials. Student looks to use, where should I get this, where should I get that book from? But nowadays it's a plethora happening, so you have a lot of stuff and the piling up of the stuff, and there is also a FOMO happening, fear of missing out, among
Yeah.
the competitive exam preparations. And what I feel is that also down the line, students are also getting very tensed, because initially what used to happen is that they used to prepare 2 years or 3 years. Now they are preparing from class 8th or class 7th, you can say, and also there is peer pressure, parental pressure happening. So I think you're planning as a game changer, and hopefully in the coming times you can see the results. Definitely, it sounds very promising from your end, as if, yeah.
yeah. Hopefully the vision
Yeah,
is
yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah,
fulfilled.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, Mr. Rajiv, there is a part of, in the society, there are children who have learning disability or they are slow learners. So, how do you feel that Step App is working towards a more inclusive sort of app where, we can also cater to those children who have these types of issues with their learning?
Um, it's a work in progress, but I'll
Mhm.
kind of give you a sense of the discussion that we kind of have in a lot of ways. So there are obviously there is a technology aspect of it and there's a business aspect of how we want to be able to be more inclusive in this
Mhm.
entire scheme of right essentially because I think inclusivity is what we kind of want to look at. Now technology obviously offers some objective sort of options for you to be able to do, which is sort of ARIA regulations. You put in a little bit tags here, and I mean there are certain things which you kind of have to do to be able to say okay these are accessible in some but they don't really complete the loop in any way.
Yeah.
I think where so on the technology front, we I think gamification inherently what we are trying to do is by making it a little bit by making the colors a little bit more contrasting and by making it a little bit more vivid in terms of appearances and by making the entire thing sort of not if you look at the current design elements that we kind of see in most applications is kind of catered to a very it's catered to a very evolved audience, right? At the end of the day, whatever it might be. Now, you might call it old-fashioned or whatever it is, but these things work. They work because I mean, we know for a fact that if there is certain learning disabilities, the even down to fonts and colors they matter. And I wouldn't say that we've directly taken a focus group of students with learning disabilities in any way, shape, or form. But what we have done over the last year, 2 years, is work with people with who did not have access to proper education for a while, like the tribal department in Maharashtra, for example.
Yeah.
Now, again, like I said, I'm not for the life of me trying to say that they have learning disabilities, right? So I'm not
Hmm.
trying to take credit in either way, in some way here, there. But what the essence of it is, we're willing to go the extra mile to get there. When we
Mhm.
went to
Yeah.
speak to tribal department the first time around, they gave us things like we don't have devices, we don't have internet, we don't have people have one phone among 10 people in their family. People, I mean, they haven't ever seen a desktop device in front of them. And how do we actually impart this education? We have, over the last 2 years, worked with the tribal department, including in the pandemic. where we have made sure that the solution reaches a significant amount of students, which means sort of, so our testing involves making sure that the app, there are videos run on 2.5G or 3G. I mean, to see what their performance is on a network which is very, very slow. There are things that most companies would even ignore, but we could not ignore because they were our sort of active stakeholders at some point. Which also meant that we had to make sure that the language was correct, that that delivery was easy, that it wasn't too heavy as an application to be able to get there, that the tags were in place, everything. So from a technology perspective, we made sure about, like I said, transcoding, making sure the videos are small, making sure on a product perspective, the colors were vivid, very easily identifiable, and also
Also
light.
the music, yeah. Also, I love the music part as well. The tone of the music, the selection is also very good.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Yeah,
all of this kind of gets into that. The other
yeah,
aspect is business. I think Dr. Hariprasad, he might also know this, is that our founder, Mr. Praveen Tyagi, he has a special affinity towards getting, and he's got his vision to be able to get education everywhere. That is
yeah,
his sort of underlying vision,
yeah.
on the basis of which PACE
Hmm.
as a entity has been giving scholarships, or even, I mean, down to 100% scholarships for a lot of students over the last 20 years. And
Yeah,
from
definitely. I'm also a benefit of that. Yeah, I have also been a benefit of that, and many of my batchmates and colleagues. Adding on to it, I just want to mention few things about Praveen Tyagi sir, because when he graduated from IIT Delhi, he wanted to. He loved physics, and what I remember, he told once in our class that he preferred to shift to Mumbai rather than Delhi, because Mumbai is having a great platform, because there the parents can afford good tuitions, because everything costs money, and in Delhi you don't have that culture in those times. And that's how PACE started moving on, and it expanded throughout Maharashtra. And later on it has a pan India presence, but more often it has a Maharashtra specific coaching institute. But yes, what Rajiv said is that he's having a terrific vision, and I definitely see in the discussion we have with Rajiv that in coming days they are going to add upon it. And I feel that what Rajiv told about colors and contrast, that will be very helpful for the autistic and special children, because they have a lack of attention, and also they have emotions issues. Also the kind of tune the company is using, I also have a special interest with it, and I was discussing with my neuro linguistic team, and they were also telling that you might work upon it, and in coming days we can see great results, especially with the blind and the autistic children.
Okay.
Yeah, Rajiv.
That's a great insight from Dr. Harprasad. Yes, Mr. Rajiv can go on.
Oh, absolutely. I think that covers everything, to be honest.
Okay, wonderful. So, you want to say something, sir? Hello?
Yeah, I think
Yes, yes, you
final
can go.
comments. I think where I kind of missed out on was that, essentially speaking, from a business perspective, what we're also trying to do is, over the last 20 years, we have done that, where we've actually given a part of what, yes, Bombay has a lot of paying capacity, but at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is we're trying to take and give back to society in some way.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it
definitely.
has always
Yeah.
been a batch where we got a certain specific set of students who would not otherwise have been able to get into PACE, be
Hmm.
it learning
Yeah.
disability, be it with financial issues, or
Financial
whatever it
crisis.
might
Yeah.
Yeah,
be.
Yeah.
yeah,
I have
absolutely.
personally, I have personal experience of some of my colleagues who are currently doing great stuffs in their life. It's all because of various scholarship schemes of PACE Institute. Yeah. Shruti can go on.
Okay.
Next question.
So, Mr. Rajiv, how do you think that adding this, we have been, with time, this is something which is very new to a lot of people and a lot of students. But how do you think that, in this virtual learning, adding up this human touch, how can you think that you guys can add this human touch into the virtual learning thing?
Gamification. I
Yeah.
think you misunderstand the word gamification, to be honest. I think gamification, a lot of people kind of end up saying, okay, make it look like a game, it's game, whatever it might be. But it isn't, right? Essentially speaking. So I think if you think about it, what does a game have? It has players, it has some certain set of rules, it has some engaging concepts, it has something in there, right? Basically speaking.
Hmm.
So what do we do when we want to break the ice in an organization or in a school? We have these icebreakers that we do, right? Essentially speaking, which is, and we turn them as
Yeah.
games. That we
Hmm.
kind of get them together and we play a small little game that becomes an icebreaker that gets people talking amongst each other. The whole sense of community comes from games. The whole sense of community comes
Yeah.
from sort of peer competition, being able to kind of know what the other person is doing, and that's essentially the essence of online learning that most people don't actually focus on. The human element of it. The
Hmm.
human element is important. In
Yeah.
individual institutions are important, but you can't expect a student to sit alone for 6, 8, 10 months just in front of a screen, be motivated to do something, unless there is some sense of the fact that there are other people in the world. I know it sounds apocalyptic, but it's not as bad as that now. But at some point it was. At some point, it was just monotonous
like
and
that.
got it to a point that you not just deliver. Basically speaking, it's just okay, keep watching. It's like watching Netflix. I don't really think that you get a sense of what you did over the last. It just goes out in a blur. If you focus on things like Step App, so at the moment we have basically launched Digital Pace, right, which is basically the online version for Pace, and the idea behind that is obviously we can't get to a lot of students if we want to keep working in a brick and mortar set. But the reason why it has taken time is also this, that we don't really just want to go and say, okay, this is a channel, just go to YouTube and watch over here, or this is a Zoom link, please come over here and finish it, basically speaking. So there's no differentiator. There is no education being imparted over there. And this is a false game. It's a false narrative in some way, because there is no way this sticks if this is how online learning is supposed to be. Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, the monitoring and the results will show like this. Okay, fair enough, you did a certain course, but it didn't really matter, didn't really help you. And then what that means is that we lost this great opportunity to be able to get education out to millions of students because some people were greedy. I don't want to kind of sound pessimistic, because you need to be able to take time to be able to understand specific problems of online learning. It's not just, okay, let's just make content better and move around and stuff like that. There is animation and it's cool, whatever it might be. The human element of it, how do you connect with students? How do you make sure you make them feel warm and scared and happy and sad at the same time? I mean, it's all a journey, right? Essentially, students kind of, oh, I missed this test, or I missed this question, or oh, I aced this, and oh, I played this game with a friend of mine. And people came to coaching classes not just for learning, right? I mean, people made great friends, and there were these small little
Mentors.
things that happened where you kind of went around with went around to eat together. All of that matters. All the
Yeah.
corporate culture you think about, all what HR does, for some reason we think that doesn't apply to students. And we've kind of understood, no, that is not the case. I mean, if you want this to be a long-term solution, if you want online learning to stick post-COVID as well, all of this needs to be taken into account. And this is what we're kind of trying to do right now. It is difficult to get it right. I'll be very honest. It's not, there is no one size fits all. We have to be agile. We have to kind of pivot to
Customization is very important. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Customization as well personalization. Yeah.
and even that mindset, even to elevate yourself to a place where you understand the problem, because nobody's gone through this. Let's be honest. Nobody really knows what the student is going through,
Hmm.
and anybody who says they do is lying, essentially, because it's once in a lifetime kind of set sort of situation we are in. So to be able to kind of get yourself into that mix, to understand what the student goes through and then try and provide a solution, takes time, takes pedigree, takes the amount of insights that you can,
Important.
as many insights you can kind of get into the system, and then try and devise a solution out of it.
Mhm.
Not just, okay, let's go out there, whatever it might be. So to answer, sorry to kind of ramble on over here, but I think that's an
No.
important
That.
point to think
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah. It
the
was
human element
absolutely.
is
Yeah.
very important.
Mhm.
Yeah, but like I
Yeah.
said, the human element is very, very important. Like essentially treating students as students, not just number of admissions. Yeah. I mean, like
Mhm.
just knowing whatever. Like we basically in Digital Base, for example, have even spoken about how do we have weekly sort of game rounds or whatever it might be. It's not to do with learning. We've spoken
Okay.
with. We are now tying up with a institute very popular. I won't name it right now because it's sort of on at the MOU stage right now. But we've
Yeah.
also tying up with somebody who imparts yoga, for example,
Okay.
specifically designed to keep and this is not just yoga, fitness yoga, and you can kind of get anybody on board or whatever it might be. This is specifically designed for students to keep up their motivations during this kind of phase, or try not even this kind of phase, but trying to focus on their learning. So you have, and this takes time, let's be honest. I mean, trying to get a age-old yoga institute to kind of start understanding, oh no, this is important for their learning, for them to be able to get selected to IIT, takes that
Yeah.
level of sort of percolation in your head, which is what we're trying to do right now.
Yeah. On a softer note, I want to ask that you chose Amitabh Bachchan as your brand ambassador. So, any specific reasons?
Why not? I mean,
No. Means
would you do anybody else?
Yeah.
no. I'm just asking why Amitabh Bachchan?
I think um, let's uh, uh, let's sort of look at a story, right, in some way. And I know I know I won't do justice to whatever he's done in the past as well, basically speaking. If there is somebody who's been a proper brand ambassador for, I mean, for even the country as a whole, where you look at certain attributes of a person and say, oh, no, this is what we want. There's nothing off place of brand over here in some way. Like for as a country, like he's articulate, he's very diligent, he's dedicated to his work, he's a self-made man, started from
Yeah,
nothing.
definitely.
And even today, I mean, even today at this age, make sure he sort of operates and presents himself in the right way always. I mean, I've never seen him taking a wrong foot ever.
Yeah,
I'm not
like
sure
yeah.
how that's possible.
Be it professional or personal life, he's a man of perfection, like we can say.
And he's sort of India's grandfather in some way, right? I mean, in some way, he's just basically somebody where there is no sense of you kind of listen to him as somebody who's giving you wisdom, right? In some way. So like how we used to listen to our own grandparents, their stories about what they've gone through. He's the
Yeah,
country's
yeah,
let him speak and we'll listen, so to speak. I think
yeah, yeah.
that's where he fits in.
I thought you will be answering that he's also handling the KBC. So KBC is a kind of gamifying. Yeah, we can say that KBC is one of the platforms of our times which gamified education, a quiz competition, having such kind of atmosphere and such kind of drama associated, also
And
media attention.
inherently,
Yeah, I thought
inherently,
sometimes.
KBC
Yeah,
also chosen because of these reasons. I think that there is a reason why Amitabh Bachchan works well in KBC and nobody else. I mean, he's
yeah, yeah,
not the only,
definitely.
right?
Mm.
Yeah,
Because
SRK tried once,
as,
but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
definitely.
exactly. So this is the reason
Okay,
why, because people listen when he talks, people listen, and
Yeah,
whatever
absolutely.
domain he
definitely.
was.
So, in 5 points, can you just summarize what are your future aspirations for StepApp as you are the CTO and you're handling the technical issues? Yeah, in five
Um,
points, briefly.
I think I'm not sure I'll be able to count the 5 points, but I think
Yeah,
I'll just first take up the challenges that are there in front of me as the CTO of StepApp.
yeah,
The the gauntlet that has been thrown at me in some way, right? And the challenge that has been thrown at me is that be ready to educate India, right? And that's I think when Mr. Praveen Tyagi says it, it's not sort of just empty talk, right? So he means that. Now it's obviously easier said than done. But if you look at what the size of India is and look at exactly what he wants to achieve as far as being able to get education everywhere, not to the niche audience, which step app at least. I mean, PACE is obviously a different kind of ballgame altogether, but which step app he wants this to be able to get everywhere, which means from a technology perspective, I have to be ready for somebody who streams Netflix every day down to somebody who
yeah.
only has Jio phone and 2.5G connection, whatever it might be. All right. And somebody down to even people with a community TV as the only
Hmm.
thing available to them for any
Yeah,
kind of content. So on top of that, be able to handle the scale. Right, everything becomes a lot more complicated when it becomes
one
when we start
scalable. Yeah.
getting the scale a lot higher, which means that it's not a single solution anymore from a technology
Hmm.
perspective. There are multiple different solutions that need to be able to run together in perfect harmony for us to be able to do it well. And the problem with technology is everybody kind of looks at it as sort of the panacea of sorts, but also looks at it with a great deal of skepticism, especially people
Yeah,
who've been
definitely.
in the domain for a while and functionally they work in a different way altogether. Which means if it breaks, people won't give it the second chance. Which means that we have to do it right the first time around, right? Essentially speaking,
Yeah,
which is
that's
why
yeah. That's why I always say that Mr. Tyagi always strives for excellence, and
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I'm also forgetting, but there used to be some kind of full form associated with PACE. I don't exactly remember, but it was also great because once he said that if you join PACE, you will definitely win the race, something kind of that. But I don't exactly
There is
remember
a
what is that.
base
Yeah.
sort of a small little sort of company slogan or something,
Mm.
but I'll hard pressed
Yeah,
to
you
remember.
are also forgetting. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm too old to remember this, real, very honestly. That's only for the people who are studying for IIT. They can kind of remember shit.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. I'm also not more part of that. Yeah. So it was a great talk with Mr. Rajiv, I guess, and
Yeah.
I feel that 5 years down the line, this digital platform of PACE, which initiated, and with the backing of Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, brand ambassador, so it will be having a great change in coming days. And 5 years down the line, we hope that not upon to the masses, but yes, in terms of quality, we'll be having a great platform.
yes,
Any last remarks? Yeah, any last remarks, Rajiv,
Shruti,
before
you were saying
conclusion?
something? You had something before I start.
No, no,
No,
no.
no,
You can say.
you go on. Yeah.
I think the one of the things that gives me I don't know what the future holds obviously and where the company is going to go and what direction we take. But one of the things that gives me joy to kind of work over here is the purity in vision. All right. So I came from a very different I was in Z5 before this and a few other companies, whatever, which were with the corporate focus that we had, we were talking numbers. We always spoke about consumers and hours spent in the application and this much spent on marketing and so on and so forth. And it was all very big.
Yeah.
This
So
is
you are
probably
enjoying, yeah, yeah. You are also having a great job satisfaction, I guess, at StepApp.
when we came here, it's probably one of the only companies in the application space that talks student first. They still talk, what bachche ne kya sikha? What do you think the kid knows at the end of it? And what do you think, how do you make sure that they understand they complete the syllabus on time? And
Mm.
it's never about MAUs and DAUs, which is, I think, in some way also hurts us. But
That's the
the
second part,
purity
yeah.
of vision is still there, which means if we get this right, and we are very very bullish on the fact that we get it right. But if we get this right, and when we get this right, we know we will make an impact. This is not going to be about numbers. This is not going to be about views on YouTube, for example. We will actually be able to get students interested in learning and actually be able to deliver great talent for the country.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Rajiv and Dr. Harprasad, for such an insightful conversation with our organization. It was so glad to talk to you, both of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Raji, for joining us.
Thanks. Take care.